But yeah, on to the next clip, which is blowing up the internet right now, Omah Lay. So Omah Lay had a video of him leaked when he was at a sit out, I think in New York or somewhere, and it was at a Clarity of Mind album listening. I think people like that was basically his album being played or something. I'm not sure, but yeah, what went viral though was basically this. Omah Lay said that Afrobeats is mainly Lagos, it's mainly Yorubas. Fela Kuti is the pioneer, we all know that, and he's Yoruba. Now he's now said, I'm from PH and you have to break into Lagos. Yikes. There are only two people from Port Harcourt. PH is Port Harcourt, for those who don't know what PH is Port Harcourt. Now he went on to say, there are only two people from Port Harcourt that people know. That's Burna Boy and him. After breaking out, he did his research and decided to focus on his crowd, because that's where he feels he gets his genuine love, and the rest of the world can fuck off. That's literally what man said. But when this was dropped, when this snippet went viral on X Twitter, it went like it got a lot of backlash, because a lot of people are saying, how are you going to be saying Afrobeat is Yoruba when you've had so many icons that have been able to craft Afrobeat into what it is currently. You have the two faces who are from Benway, Plantation Boys, who are like, obviously like I said, Benway. You've got Mohits, yeah, most of them were Yoruba, but then you have Duncan Mighty, you have Timaya, that's from Port Harcourt. You've got Fino, you've got that nigga Raw, you've got MI is not Yoruba, MI is from the north. So like a lot of people were really upset that how would he try and put Afrobeat in a box and say it's just Yorubas. That's quite disrespectful to the term Afrobeat, and actually brought up a conversation as to the pioneer of Afrobeats, because is it just Fela Kuti, or are we just lauding, are we just giving lazy respect to Fela Kuti? No disrespect to Fela Kuti, he's a legend. But then when we're talking about pioneering Afrobeats as it is, yes, he is tagged as a pioneer of Afrobeats, but if you actually break it down into layers, is he actually the pioneer of Afrobeats, or is he the sole pioneer of Afrobeats? Because the conversation that is surrounding this Omah Lay statement is actually really, really intriguing, and I'll break it down for you guys some more. But this particular Twitter user, her statement really caught my eye. Her name is Otumba Bricks, and she said before you she was talking to Omah Lay, playing Omah Lay's clip. Like, before you there was Duncan Mighty, there was Timaya, there was Wakonzi. So you know what, she made such this Otumba lady Otumba Bricks made such a great point. I don't know if you guys were able to hear everything I said, but to summarize it, she stated out the fact that yes, Afrobeats is a genre that was birthed in Lagos, but tying it to the individual Fela Kuti is wrong, because what Fela did was Afro sound. He played his own sound, and during the period of Fela, we had the disco, we had other sounds, pop music that were going off, and then the main people that actually even infused the Afro sound and the pop sound and the hip hop and the R&B that now bettered the Afrobeats, the thing that has been called Afrobeats now. She started naming them from the Daddy Showkeys to the Timayas, and obviously we cannot leave the main guys themselves, them Don Jazzy's, and yes, the Yorubas are influential in it as well, but we have such a plethora of other individuals that I had mentioned, and this is just to mention a few. She didn't even mention Plantation Boys, she didn't mention I've forgotten the name, but they're a big group. Like, look, yeah, Afrobeats, when you have that conversation, I actually feel like, yeah, with no disrespect to Fela, but this is so Sheo Kuti kind of cause this. If we not bring this thing, we will not be having this conversation. I'm sorry, but actually, the birth of Afrobeats, that term Afrobeats, is birth should be attributed to the plethora of artists that created the sound. The idea of giving it solely to Fela Kuti, I think is redundant now. When we actually have our own actual history about how we know the growth of Afrobeat started with us. We're not talking about foreigners looking into it right now. So if we, the people that grew with the sound and saw its growth up until now, we have more of a say. And if people online are literally pointing out that, yo, Fela, yes, was influential, but his sounds were very, very, very cultural to him. He never really did anything outside his high life music and his cultural social justice sound. He never moved past that. And that's what a lot of people are pointing out. But if you're talking about Afrobeats, Afrobeats is a fusion of, you know, pop, hip-hop, R&B, amapiano, with our own sound, our own style of music. So when we have that, when we've had, you know, a lot of artists that have done so much over time to create and birth this trend, this sound called Afrobeats now that everyone seems to love across the world, giving it, attributing it strictly to one man's movement, I feel does not do justice to the other artists that have contributed to this growth. And Omah Lay honestly is very, very wrong for what he said, because just like people know him and don't bother boy, Timaya came out before Omah Lay. Like, Timaya is one of the biggest names that was out of Port Harcourt, South, before Omah Lay was even in the scene. Duncan Mighty is a legend, an absolute legend. And honestly, yes, those are the ones that are able to go mainstream. But if we actually take the time to look at it, we realize that, yo, they actually have a couple of bangers, a couple of people that actually, you know, came out of there as well before Omah Lay. But yeah, in terms of actual mainstream artists, we had Duncan Mighty, we had you know, Timaya, then we had Burna Boy. To be fair, yeah, before we had Omah Lay. So Omah Lay saying it's just him and Burna, I feel it was so wrong and so disrespectful. And saying that Afrobeats is a Yoruba thing is so wrong as well, and so disrespectful to all the other artists that combine their blood, sweat, and tears to build this genre to the point that it is. Bro, you actually should drop an apology, because that's so disrespectful. Like, yes, the idea of going into Lagos to break out is a general thing. It's normal, because that is the economic hub of Africa. Whether you like it or not, Lagos is the economic hub of Africa. Straight up. So it's just like you're in the States. Everyone wants to go to Hollywood. Everyone wants to go to LA. Do you understand what I'm saying? Why? Because they feel that's where it's the easiest way to make out. Now, can you make it somewhere else? Yes, of course you can. It's just harder. And that is because there's no structure in any other state for entertainment structure properly aside from Lagos, because that's where they've been able to build a structure through, and that's why it makes it easier for you to go there, because you can actually earn a living in Lagos doing your entertainment. So for you to use that as the moniker or the standard of all to say that's a Yoruba thing, that's so wrong, bro, and so disrespectful on so many levels, so many bloody levels. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you should actually go check yourself on my day. Like, nah, bro, that was so wrong. Like, like a lot of artists, Yoruba and otherwise, have given their blood, sweat, and tears, like I said, to the growth of this sound. And for you to just say it's a Yoruba thing, you know, and nah, bro, that's so wrong. So big ups to Tumba Breaks on Twitter. I actually told her that I was gonna bring up her statement, what she said on this podcast, because I really felt it was really powerful, and I really like the commentary, and I love what she said, because like we have that green, we have so many huge guys that build this industry, man. Not just Fela, but that aside, we have so many people in the industry aside Yorubas that have been able to build it to what it is, and they all deserve their full respect. So yes, the idea of the conversation about the pioneer of Afrobeats is an ongoing conversation that we should have, and it should be explored more. Not disregard to Fela's contribution, but also recognizing that it's not solely Fela anymore. We actually have to do our research and actually give people their flowers for what they've done and brought to this industry, to bring it so far to where it is, where you see artists wearing billions on their neck and it's nothing. You get me? So that's just my take on that. That's episode 10. You know what? We're just getting started, people. But yeah, so that aside, well, I do want to ask before I go on, do you guys agree with Omah Lay or do you disagree? Let me know. Or do you agree with my point or do you disagree? Let me know in the comment section. But yeah, so now we're back to Tonto DK.